Hey, single plane golfers. I want to welcome you to the May Plane Talk. I want again, like normal, I'm Tim Graves, co-founder of the Graves Golf Academy. I always like to introduce myself on the Plane Talks. I know there's a lot of non-members out there, non-single plane academy members, and some of you guys may have been here for the first time, and want to welcome you to the single plane, your first single plane talk, and or those who may have been to 100 of these before. I want to welcome you back. Okay, so thank you guys for being part of tonight, and thank you for rolling with us, and and I hope you guys are enjoying your journey on the single plane and your journey to, mastering Mo Norman's swing and, hopefully greatly improving your golf game, doing everything that we work with you guys doing and be able to really take your game to that next level. That no matter what your age is, no matter what your ability is, no matter where you are. And that's what we're all about. We've been doing this for a long time. I always like to introduce and say we've been doing this for 25 years, but it's like it's going 26 years, 27 years, and so on. All right. So first things first, I want to talk a little bit about the ripple effect. Okay. And remember, the ripple effect, and we covered it in our last webinar. We did this, and actually the last plane talk we did, the ripple effect. What the ripple effect's all about. There's really two different things of ripple effect when you talk about it. Ripple effect number one was the ripple effect of how Mo Norman, okay, Todd spent a lot of time with Mo. I spent time with Mo, and how he took his legacy and gave it basically to us. We worked years and years and years with Mo, and now how we're ripple effecting that out. So obviously Mo was in the center of that. It's like throwing a stone in the water and watching that ripple effect. Mo was in the middle of it, obviously. He was the godfather of the single plane swing. And he really taught Todd and myself, about the swing and taught us what he felt in the swing and what he saw in the swing and how he managed the swing and how he learned the swing and what he thought during the swing. I mean, that was some of the best times I ever spent with Mo, was just sitting there and sitting at dinner and talking to Mo about how the process he went through to become, the best ball striker of all time. And anyway, we took that information and we created DVDs on that. We created instructional information on that. We did all kinds of stuff and started spreading that, as we call it, to the world. But the ripple effect that we have also is, we've got now instructors, master instructors, and instructors out there, whether they're doing 1-day schools, 3-day schools, running our coaching program, running our membership. We've got all these instructors out there that are now helping us spread the word out there, okay? In fact, at one time, and you can't quote me that right now, but we had 26 different facilities for 26 different locations across the United States and across the world. We even had facilities in China, one's in Australia, one's over in the UK. I mean, we've had facilities at different places at different times and still have a lot of them out there, okay? So that's the ripple effect, how this is really spreading out. It's very interesting that in the fact that when we first started our schools, we were a very small school that nobody heard of. By numbers game right now, we're one of the top 2 largest schools in the country. So if that tells you anything. So everybody thinks the single plane is this weird deal, that it's an unusual, unique deal. It's not anymore. And you guys, I'm sure you feel that. But that's ripple effect number one. It's really us, Mo starting this and spreading the word out and the ripple effect going out to you guys. So now you're maybe 3rd or 4th in that chain of that ripple. But as you're learning that swing and you're changing your swing and you're getting better in your game, you got people talking to you. You got your friends. You got your people at your club. You got people you're playing against or playing with, or maybe you go on trips and you're playing with different people. And they're saying, what are you doing? That's really unique. But I mean, you're hitting the ball better. It's looking so much better, or things have changed. What's going on? You're part of that ripple effect. You are absolutely part of that ripple effect, spreading that word out there. They always say 70 to 80% of marketing in golf is word of mouth. And I think it's higher. So you are absolutely part of that ripple effect. And we definitely appreciate that. And then you got ripple effect number 2. And ripple effect number 2 we'll go into more tonight. And that's really about, it's like a cause-effect relationship. How do things in your golf swing, how do things in your body, how does different things that you're working on in your short game, your mid game, your long game, how does that affect and build itself up for good or bad? So there can be some weaknesses that affect things in the negative and some strengths that affect things in the positive. And it's also the ripple effect. Because if you don't get that core area of that ripple, if you don't affect the part where that rock's hitting that water and you're trying to fix the edges of it, you're never fixing the core issue. And we'll talk about that tonight. That's really ripple effect 2, ripple effect 3. And we'll get into that, okay? And we'll get a lot more into that tonight. That's the good stuff. That's the fun stuff. Let's just be honest. That's the stuff that you can really work diligently at, or work at, and really start making some big effects in your golf game. And that's what it's all about. It's about, guys, why do we do this? We do this, number one, so you guys have more fun playing golf. Come on, let's just be honest. We want to have more fun playing golf. But for most people, having fun playing golf comes down to 2 things. Number one is not playing in pain, or playing in less pain, or minimizing the pain. Okay, we know that as we get older, a lot of people play in pain. Okay, that's number one. It's not fun when you're playing in pain. And number 2 is we hope you're improving. We try to make you improve, because most guys want to play pain-free or close to pain-free if possible, but they also want improvement. They want to see improvement from day to day, okay, or week to week, or whatever you want to say. So that's our goals, is to help you guys have more fun playing this game that we love, pain-free, and hopefully showing improvement, consistent improvement. Now, let's get rolling, and let's really start rocking into what we talked about and about into the ripple effect. But I want to talk about the first thing on the ripple effect right now, okay? And this last webinar we did, and it was a private webinar for the 10% show, we did it on recommended distances for different age groups. So 50 and below, 50 to 50 or 50 to 59, 60 to 69, 70 to 79. We did the PGA recommended distances, okay? Also had ladies on there. These recommended distances became a very hot topic of conversation since. I mean, a big time topic of conversation. I don't think we've ever had more conversation over anything in the last 10 years, okay? Obviously. Many of you said you're going to take that and give it to your club. You're going to give it to your group you play with. You wanted to give it to your PGA Pro. You wanted to go talk to this group about, okay, I love it. And I'm going to put these distances up again for you guys real quick so you can see them, okay? Because we're getting to the topic now, okay? So these are the PGA distance guidelines that were delivered to me last Tuesday and were voted on by the PGA of America, okay? And basically what it is that 49 and under was 6,900 yards average. 50 to 59 was 6,400 yards average. 60 to 69 was 5,700 yards average. And 70 and older was basically 5,200 yard average. For ladies, okay, that are women that are 50 and above, okay, you go down to the Legends division, okay? And for ladies that are under 50, you go down to the senior division. Use those yardage, okay? So that's what it was, okay? And we put that out. And then in the last webinar we did in the 10% show, we talked about how that related to statistics. How far you need to hit it for your age group to be average so you would know how far, like a 70-year-old guy. If you correlate that out by the given statistics that are golf industry statistics, the average 70-year-old guy with the 6% rule, what it's called, should be hitting the drive 200 yards on average. That's it. If you're at 200 yards, you're an average 70-year-old guy. Okay? If you're a little below, maybe you need to work on your distance. You hit a little bit above, man, you're above average. Okay, we talked about that. Now, we released that webinar to everybody. We thought it was so important, we released that to everyone. We don't very seldom do that, but we released that to everybody. So you should have got an email with it last week talking all about those guidelines, okay? But here's what I want to bring up first. And I'm just going to give this to you guys because, guys, this is ammo. If you want to talk ammo, this is what it's all about. And I got this email in, or this comment in, and it was also put on Facebook, and this was from a gentleman named Keith H. Okay, and I'm going to put the slide up. And this is what he replied to that. When we posted this and put it all up, he said he disagreed, and he strongly believed that distances should be based on players' ability, not age bracket. Okay? That's what he said. Okay? And here's the deal. Okay, because I'm going to give you my reply, and I'm going to spell this out for you guys. Because, guys, this is our belief. This is the PGA belief, and I'm going to read this to you and read you my response to you. Some of you guys may have read this, some of you didn't, but I'm going to kind of close the topic up for tonight with the right here. I responded, Keith, you are absolutely 100% incorrect. Keith, I believe completely incorrect how golf should be played. You are basically saying as players get better, they should be punished. Name one other sport they are punished. Name one individual sport, players are punished for getting better. Bowling? So you're telling me when bowlers get better, they make the lanes more narrow? Marathon runners, another individual sport. You're telling me as marathon runners get better, they put weights on their legs, or maybe they have to run further? Okay, doesn't make sense. So I asked him this question. Tell me why the Champions Tour players play at courses that are 500 to 750 yards shorter than PGA Tour courses. You are telling me that Champions Tour players are not as good as PGA Tour players. Well, let me give you a hint. There's many more major champion winners in the Champions Tour than there is in the PGA Tour. Exponentially. Okay? So I guess by your comment, there should be different PGA Tour tees. Those that have won a major should play the back tees. Those that have just won a PGA Tour event should play middle tees. And those that have never won a PGA Tour event but on the PGA Tour should play the front tees. Okay? Keith, you're thinking exactly why older players stop playing the game from frustration because of clueless individuals who set up courses too long for ages, average distance for particular ages. As we get older, we will lose distance. It is an absolute guarantee. Those that keep playing as they get older should be rewarded with shorter tees. But more importantly, those who are long for their age should also be rewarded. According to your thinking, a 25-year-old guy who hits the ball 330 yards but cannot get in the ball in the hole because he has a terrible short game and is a 30 handicap should be playing from a 6,000-yard tee. But the 70-year-old gentleman who hits the ball 200 yards, which is average, and has a great short game, so he makes himself a scratch player, should be playing the back tee. Keith, that is absolutely makes no sense. It is completely ridiculous thinking. Tim. Guys, watch the last webinar. I don't want to go over it anymore, but you keep playing the tees that aren't for your age group, you're going to get what you get. The PGA does this for a reason, to make it equitable across the world, the room, the world, the whole thing. That's how they do this. So we're going to hit equitable tees in, and I'm going to give you the last slides here. Okay, and this we're going to do this, and I'll end it right here, okay? But I'm going to give you this example. This is my home course. This is number 17 at my home course. You see that bunker there? That's the green on the other side. I am now standing on the middle back tee. So I'm playing where Keith said a 70-year-old scratch player should be playing from. And by the way, that marker on the right is 210 yards. So standing on this tee, I'm at 220 yards. So all you 70-year-old guys out there going by Keith and people out there who are ignorant to this, thinking you should be hitting this shot. Okay? Let me give you a little secret. You ain't getting over the water. The average 70-year-old guy might get in the bunker. It's just the way it is. I mean, we lose distance. Okay? Give me the next one. Next slide. Okay? Here's the next slide. This is the up tee. This is where the 50-year-olds and 60-year-olds will be playing from right here. We're now sitting at 160 to 100, between 150 and 160 yards. Okay? We're on the up. Now it's realistic. Some of you guys still might be hitting hybrids in there. That's fine. Some of you guys may be hitting, 6 hybrids, 6 hybrids. That's fine. It's a tough hole, but it gives us a chance. This is where I play it from. 165 yards. That's my tee. The one up that you see there would be for the 60-year-old guys. Now give me the next slide. Here's a 7-year-old tee. 145 yards, guys. Okay? So according to Keith's thinking, this is where the 25-year-old who's a 30 handicap will be playing from. And the back tee that I just showed you from 220 is where the 7-year-old guys will scratch player will be playing from. Keith, you're an idiot. Okay, let's go. Sorry, bud. You're an idiot. Okay, let's go. So that's, guys, and I'll be honest with you, I'm going to say it 1,000 times over because this is what ruins the game of golf. And if your PGA Pro's acting this way in the shop, he's ruining the game of golf. Okay? He's ruining the game of golf. You want to talk about no fun? Show me the slides again. I'll show you what no fun is. Give me the first slide. Tee it up from there. Tee it up from there. You want to have fun? Okay, now show me the last slide I showed you. Now we're talking fun. Tough hole still. Is it a tough hole? Yeah, it's a tough hole. Pt.II design course. It's an amazingly tough hole. It's rated one of the top 100 holes in the United States, okay? So guys, but this is a hole that we'll play. And right there, for the average guy, it's very playable. In fact, a lot of times the 6-year-old tees are right there. Okay, so let's go into ripple effect. So guys, that's part of the ripple effect. Because let me tell you what this is all about. Here's number one in the ripple effect, and this is why we brought this up. If you're playing a course that's too long for your age, okay, and all of a sudden you can't get to par 4s, you can't get to par 3s, you have no chance to even get to par 5s and 3, or you got to play holes like that, and you have no chance. What are you going to be focusing on? Well, here's the problem. You're going to be focused on distance, 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 distance. Well, here, let me give you a secret. Distance equates to such a small part of the game compared to the short game that you will never see improvement or significant improvement because your whole brain will be focused, and rightfully so. If your pro is making that a 6-year guy playing those back tees, you're thinking, I got to hit it longer, I got to hit it longer. Yeah, I 100% agree with that. But if you're playing your appropriate tees, the ripple effect down the line gives us a chance. So now we know, and we're to focus on the game. Because guys, if you're hitting 7 irons, 8 irons, 9 irons, or wedges into the par 4s, okay? And every so often you might have a chance to get home in a par 5. In the par 3s for you, you're playing 150, 160 yards, 140 yards. Do you understand where your brain will put the focus? That's the biggest ripple effect there is out there. That is number one. So when we talk about playing the appropriate distances, 100% we're talking about playing what is appropriate for you. You've earned that yardage. We've talked about it a million times, okay? Now, let's talk about another thing, ripple effect. And I'm going to give you a story this week. Then we're going to talk here, and we'll start building on this. Good friend of mine, we're out at the golf course, okay? I don't even have the club here, but we're out at his golf course. We're out at the home course, and he's out there hitting balls. I park my car behind him. I start talking to him, okay? His name's Sammy. Well, I walked up to Sammy. And this gentleman, I mean, guys, okay, this guy's, I've talked to him about before. He's actually the rep. He's the rep for a lot of famous golfers and Ricky Fowler, you know, Victor Hovland, Matthew Wolf. I've told you about Sammy before. Good guy. I love Sammy. But Sammy's out there and he's hitting balls. It was 2 nights ago. Sammy may be watching this tonight, okay? So he's probably on a plane. So we're out there and he's out hitting balls. And I walk up behind Sammy and I drive up behind him. I'm sitting there watching him hit balls. I talk to Sammy every day. And he's got a big brace on his right elbow. Okay, he's a right-handed golfer. And he's got one of those braces you can buy on TV, those like copper things that's on his elbow. And he's hitting balls. So obviously his right elbow's bothering him. And I walk up there and I said, Sammy, elbow problems? And he looked at me and he goes, and Sammy's got a real dry sense of humor. A lot of people think it's sarcastic, but he looked at me and he goes, what do you think? And he started looking at me and started, whatever. And I said, okay. Well, Sammy was hitting an iron that he's setting up over. He's a conventional golfer, and he was very close to it, and the toe of the iron was up in the air. Okay? So he's close to it, and the toe's up with a steel shaft. And I look at Sammy, and I go, Sammy, I thought you had graphite shafts in your clubs. He goes, yeah, I just couldn't stand the weight of them. He goes, they're just too light for me. And I go, well, Sammy, you know, I can get any type of graphite, or you can get any graphite you want. He plays ping. He plays it because of Victor Hovland. Okay, but he goes, I go, you can get anything you want in those clubs because of graphite can match the weight of your steel. He goes, yeah, I just don't like the feel of it. And I go, okay. I said, okay, Sammy, I'm not going to say anything else. I'm not going to argue with him. Okay, but here's what Sammy's doing, and Sammy's a very good player. Sammy and I played in numerous events together and won. I mean, Transmiss championships. We've done very well. I mean, big time events. He's a great player. Many played together years ago, okay? Well, what Sammy's doing, because his elbow is hurting him, because his clubs are too upright, and he's got incorrect shafting to protect his arms, is he's now at impact lifting and flipping the club. And why do you think he's lifting and flipping the club? Because every single time he makes impact, through impact, it's throwing a jolt into that elbow. So you want to talk about the optimal ripple effect, here it is. Because of pain in this elbow, okay, tendonitis in the elbow, he is changing his golf swing to compensate for that. But what, we talk about the chicken and the egg, what do you say? What is the ultimate issue behind the pain in the elbow? So everybody that you look at this guy and go, okay, any normal, and I say normal, any average person would look at that and say, well, it's because he's lifting at impact and he's flipping, and that flipping is putting some stress in that elbow, which it is, okay? And that's causing that tendonitis. But let's be honest. The reason behind that, and we got to back up because that's one of the edges of the ripple. That's on the outside, that's on the inside, was because of the impact position of the club. And the impact position of the club is creating a heel dig, because the club's too upright, with a shaft with no forgiveness. So the middle of that ripple that's causing it is an incorrect build of the club for him with an incorrect shafting to protect his body. Sammy is 3 years younger than me. He's in his early 50s, okay? He's in that position. He's got to look at protection in the body. But because he's in his brain thinking, got to have steel shafts, need that upright club, he is now dramatically changing his swing to positions he doesn't want to be in. And the reason we had the conversation is because he's like, I can't figure out why I'm hitting him left and hitting him right because I'm so inconsistent now. It just drives me crazy. And Sammy's a great guy. And so I look at Sammy and he wants me to sit there and say, well, you need to do this. And I say, Sammy, you got to change your shafts, bud. You got to change your shafts. You got to drop the lining of your club down a little bit. You're better than that. Okay. That's ultimate ripple effect. So what ripple effect is about is going to that root source. Not sitting there saying he's flipping the club, he's casting it. Guys, we got to go a step behind that. We got to back up. Why is he doing that? What's the reason behind that, okay? What's going on there, okay? That's all talk about equipment. That's obviously, so all you guys out there that haven't been fit for your equipment, I mean, all I know with equipment here, if you haven't been fit with your equipment, come on. I mean, here's the deal. If you haven't had your equipment fit, or got equipment from us, obviously, there's an above 80 to 85% chance that it won't matter 6 months from now because you won't be paying attention to us anyway. Do you guys all understand this at home? Because you're just going to float off to the next place. And I promise you, you will. Because if the equipment doesn't fit the swing you're working towards, listen to me carefully. It'll cause all kinds of swing issues, you're right, but it's going to cause body damage, just like what you saw there, okay? And you see it all the time, all the time. It's crazy how much you see that. Okay, so now let's talk about that casting effect. So let's go past Sammy. Let's go. So now we have a student there at home who sits there and casts the club. And let's say he's got clubs that fit him. Let's say all his clubs fit in his bag. They fit him for length, angle, shaft flex, the whole jazz, okay? And so they fit him perfect. Because if they didn't, we're going to the Sammy story, okay? But now let's say they do. And then that guy comes to me and goes, I'm still flipping this club, okay? I'm still casting it. So in other words, I make minimal divot. I hit it sideways sometimes. In fact, I pull some, I shank some. I have difficulty pitching. I'm not a real consistent pitcher of the ball. And obviously, I have inconsistent distances with the driver. I may hit one good, may hit one short, may hit one top one. Very inconsistent, okay? Make minimal divot. So you're casting the club, you're flipping, okay? So here's the first question I'm going to ask you, is I'm going to say, how much do you practice your chipping? How much do you practice miniature golf swings? How much do you practice holding your finish position? That's what I just said. Now, a lot of you guys out there are thinking holding your finish position is up here. No. We're going to talk about chipping and holding your finish position because this is the number one way to work on creating distance in a full swing, creating spin on your wedges and your irons, creating distance in your driver, and obviously developing a great short game, is when you set up over a chip. And obviously, I'm going to get a short game board out for you guys here, okay? Okay. And we do this drill, and we talk about this with our memberships continually. When I sit up over this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit a chip, and then I'm going to hold my finish. So I'm going to set up, lower body open, upper body square, hands leading, face square, hit the chip. Now notice, when I finish, what did you see? Okay, this is what you saw. You saw this shaft lean and the hands still at the club head. So what you didn't see was this. This is dramatically different than this, okay? Because if you can create this and hold that position on a chip, there's an above 90% chance you're not going to cast your full swing. You're not going to, release early. You're going to start creating divots. So that's why when you guys don't make a divot, and you guys hear me say this at schools all the time, when you're scraping the ground, not making a divot, I literally walk up to you guys and say, how much do you practice your chipping? And I say it every single time. Why? Because this is how you learn how to create a divot in hitting down the golf ball, which then translates to the full swing. Because let me give you a secret. A chip is at the back of your stance. We know that. When you create the angle down, that will be the sharpest angle down at any part of your golf swing because the ball's at the back of your stance. So naturally, that angle down will be the sharpest angle down. As the ball moves forward, that angle down is going to decrease slightly. In fact, so much so when the ball gets forward in your stance as a driver, you're actually swinging up on it. Okay? So think about it. If you're slightly swinging up on the ball in the front of your stance, a ball in the back of your stance is going to be the sharpest angle down. So when you're hitting a chip outside, or you're doing it inside, but in particular outside, and you hit a chip, you should be making a small divot in the ground, bruising the ground, or a good divot if it's a little thick. And when you get done, your hands, the club should run up your arm. In fact, it should be ahead of your arm. Okay? That's fine. But not behind. So what do you do? So here's the ripple effect. So you're not making a divot. You're losing distance. You're losing spin. Okay? And you sit there and say, okay, Tim told me I need to go chip. I need to go chip. Okay? So I get out there and I start chipping. Now, all of a sudden you do this. And you go, that's not what he wants. Don't just get mad at yourself. Oh, I got to try it again. Okay. No. What you're going to do now is when you do that, you're going to go to this position and you're going to hold it and say, that's where I need to be. You know what you're doing? You're putting conscious thought into the subconscious brain. You're putting feel into what you're trying to acquire. If you don't get there, the body has no idea what it's supposed to feel. In fact, I wouldn't even care if you just went there and hold that position. Okay? Just held that position without even hitting a golf ball. Okay? You have got to start small and work up. I will tell you right now, if you go chip and work on these correct positions, half of the time you go practice from this point forward, you will start making divots. You will start compressing the ball better. You will start hitting the ball higher and thus longer. You guys all follow me in that? You'll hit it much more consistently. Nobody that chips the ball well has a bad golf swing. Did you hear what I just said there? Nobody that chips the ball well has bad compression. Guys, follow me. What I mean by well, you may get lucky every couple times, but I'm talking consistently. Then what's it do? It also helps you create a phenomenal short game, okay? And we won't even go there. That's what I call the two birds with one stone. But guys, ripple effect. So you're not compressing the ball. You're not making a divot. You make middle divot. You don't like your hybrids. You hit your fairway woods okay, but you don't like your hybrids. Forget 6 and 7 irons. Those are, you almost can't hit them. But you're in no way you can hit a 5 iron. So you don't like your hybrids very much. Guess what? You're not compressing the ball, hitting down on it. You're lifting up, which is probably 75 to 8% of golfers. How do you fix that ripple effect? You go back to the source. What's the source? Your angle of attack's incorrect. How do you fix your angle of attack? We start chipping. And then we start building up. Now what do? Okay, here's what we do. So let's say you go chip. And guys, I don't even like talking about this because I know what'll happen. You'll jump ahead to this. Now, this is what we're going to do. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take away the short game board, okay? We're going to get the full swing board out. We're going to put the ball in a good ball position, okay? We're going to set up, and now we're just going to hit punch shots. And we're going to hold that same position. So we're going to set up over this, and we're going to hit punch shots. And guess what I just did? I held that same position. So I'm going to do it again. I set up, I hit punch shots and hold that same position. Guys, it's like a long chip, but you're putting the ball towards the middle of your stance. What shot is that? That's an under the tree shot. That's an into the wind shot. Tiger Woods called it a stinger. I mean, we can go on in that, okay? Now you're going to build up to that. This is, again, what's called the ripple effect. Do not sit there and think if you're not pressing the ball correctly, you can take full swings and gain it. You're not. You got to start small and work up, okay? Now let's go another ripple effect. Let's talk about the hips. Now let's get into the hips because the hips is such a big deal with our demographic, okay? So, and I'm going to give you a down the line view here. So I'm going to set up, and I'm going to go to the top of the swing, and I'm going to give you a motion of an average single plane golfer with decent hip flexibility. And this is what you should see, okay? So we set up, we turn. And what did you see the turn of my hips, okay? So as I turn, my hips turn back, okay? In fact, the longer the club, the more they're going to turn back. But you notice, the hips turn back. So if I'm at 0 degrees here, and at this angle here's 90, okay? I turn back, I'm at least turning 30, 35 degrees, okay? That's where I'm turning, okay? So my hips are turning. That turn of the hips, okay, that turn of the hips allows what we call the kinematic sequence to occur. So what happens now is the hips will start first, the shoulders will follow, then the arms, the hands, and the club. But when this hip starts first, it then allows, and naturally, the club to drop down and on plane. What you hear good players call getting in the slot, what we call getting on plane. So when we turn the hips properly, get to the top of our swing, we can now get the club on plane. But let's talk ripple effect. Because with our demographic, there is a big time hip issue. And if there's a percentage here, it is, I promise you, it's above 80% or higher that have limited hip flexibility or no hip flexibility. And I'm not even talking the guys that have had, hip replacements or knee replacements. I mean, you guys know who you are, okay? So what it does is, all of a sudden, we take it to the top of the swing, and we've limited our hip turn. So instead of getting, say, 30 to 35 degrees back, let's say we only get 10 degrees back, okay? That's better than a lot. Well, here's the problem. If I limit my hip turn, the body's naturally going to start with the hips first, but it will not allow the club to drop down on impact. You will now come over the top because the limited hip turn, the shoulders will turn and match up the hips too fast. You cannot get the hips far enough ahead of the shoulders, okay? So limited hip turn creates the over-the-top move. Okay, so you're working on it, and you're working, and guys, this is position 2 to 3, 2 to 3. And we walk up to you, and our coach on camera says, you got to turn your hips more, you got to turn your hips more. Or at a school, we grab your hips and turn them a little bit more, just a little bit, okay? And you go, wow, that's more than I thought, or haven't felt that in a long time, whatever it is. I mean, when Chris gets up on camera, our flexibility expert, he's constantly saying, guys, you sit in a chair so much, when we get old, we lose our hip flexibility. Okay, so what is the ripple effect behind this? The ripple effect of the breakdown of the sequence is from limited hip turn. Guys, we're not even turning a half of what traditional conventional golfers turn. Not even half of what you can see on TV. We don't need that, but we still need some. Okay. Well, with that, how do we do that then? What do we got to do to fix that? Guys, the only way to solve that is work on flexibility of the hips. That's it. You have to work on hip flexibility. If you don't, it's going to be a battle you're not going to win. It's just going to turn into frustration. So think about it. Right now, I'm trying to get your club on plane. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to get that club on plane, okay? And I realize, and I watch you send in a video to the coach, and you take it back, and the first thing that coach goes, man, he's not turning his hips back. He's not even moving his hips. I mean, we can see that so easy. We can watch everything in the pockets. We can mark in the video. You guys have seen it. I mean, I know you members, most of you members have seen in videos have seen this. So all of a sudden you turn back and the hips turn minimal. And they say you got to get and hit position one properly. Got to get that hip turn, okay? So all of a sudden we say work on hip flexibility. So I sit there and take a driver, take a long club, whatever it is. I set it behind me. It can be a stick, it could be a pole, it could be whatever. I put my arm across the chest and get into a hitting position or a position 2 position. Now I start moving the hips. Notice I've isolated the shoulder. I'm now moving the hips. Very slow. I'm stretching the hips. And guess what? I do it the opposite. I go across and start moving the hips. You guys follow me on this? Guys, back swing, through swing. You guys all understand this? Back swing. Notice I'm working on hip flexibility. Okay? And guys, we got tons more drills now. Chris has a ton more drills. But guys, this is a very basic one. Isolate the shoulder, guys, and start what? Moving the hip with the shoulder isolated. Guys, how do you think I went before around the golf? I grab my cart, I grab the handle on the cart, and I start doing the hips. It's number one flexibility I do. I grab the other one, I start moving the hips. It's number one I do. In fact, there's a DVD, or not DVD, there's a video on demand that shows you guys how to do your flexibility work on your golf cart in about 10 minutes before getting around the golf. So all the members out there getting on demand, type in flexibility, type in exercise, either one in search, but that'll pop up for you. It shows about 10 minutes of working out, just getting a little flexibility, how you do wrist on the cart. Okay, but that's the ripple effect, because this is what it comes down to. If you're not moving your hips properly, and you're at position 2 in the golf swing, and your hips have not moved back properly, do you guys understand there is no potential of getting that club on plane properly? None. Now we move back properly. Now, yeah, you still might come over, you still might have issues, but it gives us the chance. It gives us a very good chance to now get that club on plane. Because of what? So you come back to that ripple effect. So if you want to go the other direction, poor hip flexibility. Poor hip flexibility creates lack of movement or improper movement of the hips in the backswing. Improper movement of the hips in the backswing do not allow you to hit position 2 or 1. Okay? Not allowing to hit position 2 properly does not allow for proper kinematic sequence or downswing of the golf swing, which ultimately leads to what? The over-the-top move. Now, the novice, not talking, doesn't understand golfer out there will say, I pull it, I slice it, I hook it, I shank it. Yeah, that's over top. That's the results, okay? From what? Poor hip movement. That's ripple effect. Guys, that's ripple effect, okay? So when we're talking about the ripple effect in the golf swing, it's different for everybody. There's strengths and weaknesses. And think about something here. That guy who doesn't move his hips well, or that gal, he might have a perfect grip. He might have a perfect setup. It might be unbelievable. Because trust me, there'll be strengths and weaknesses in all your swing. But his or her weakness is the lack of hip movement in the backswing, okay? It's just the way it is. It's just the way it is, okay? That right there is how we start getting in depth with you. And guys, that's how you get in depth to figure out, because guess what? You can work in your golf swing. And then all of a sudden, you're going to sit there and one of my coaches is going to contact you and say, man, we got to get another 10 or 15 degrees of hip turn in there. And you go do that. And just, guys, it's not rocket science. It's actually pretty easy. And all of a sudden, you do some exercises. We get in a chair and do our hip flexibility exercises. We did the one I just showed there. Okay, we got all these exercises to do it. And all of a sudden, a couple weeks go by and you go out there, and all of a sudden, boom, you're hitting that spot. And you're like, what just happened? Now, you may still flip and cast it. You may still, whatever, you may chicken, whatever it is. But it allowed you to now get the club in proper plane position from 2 to 3, okay? And guys, so here's the deal. Don't come to me or come to my staff or my people and say, well, you know, when I was 20 years old, 25 years old, I was a great athlete and I was a great golfer at that time. And now for some dumb reason, I just lost it. You know why? Because let me give you a secret. Your body ain't like it was when you're 20 or 25 years old for most of you guys, okay? It is not, okay? And so we get in these issues now that have a lot of what? We've got to get into certain positions and hit them with amount of flexibility and just get there so we can get on plane. Now, if we can get past that, great. But we need just enough to be able to get the club on plane, okay? Now, one more I'm going to give you guys tonight, okay? And this one is kind of it's an interesting story, okay? And it's really a ripple effect about playing. And I'm going to talk about this. This is another one. This is a mental game ripple effect, okay? We had a gentleman, this was years ago, that came to our school. His name was Dan Bassett. He's from Connecticut. Some of you guys may have heard the Dan Bassett story. And Dan was a great guy. He was actually a roofer, but he did sheet metal and roofing. He's a great guy. And he'd come to our school. In fact, Dan came to so many schools when we were up in Connecticut, because we used to do a bunch of them out there when we go to Connecticut, that after the second or third school, Dan would come out and say, can I come out in the afternoon and just help you guys clean up and do stuff at the end of school after work? And I can come out and hang out with you guys for a couple of days. We're like, yeah, come on, Dan. So he'd actually volunteer to help clean up at the end of the schools after work. And then we'd let him hang out for a day or two, or as much as he wanted. He was just a great guy, okay? Well, Dan was with us for about 2 years, okay? And Dan started with us at a 26 handicap. I remember this, okay? So basically, he was shooting about 95, okay? And he played in his club league every Tuesday and Thursday. He'd play on Saturday. He was a golf nut, okay? And Dan loved it. And Dan came, and he came to a couple schools with us, and he started coming to schools as like a volunteer with us for about 2 years. So he was with us a lot. And this is before we had the coaching program. This was actually before that, okay? Or the membership. And Dan dropped down to about 22 handicap. So he was shooting about 90. And Dan started getting frustrated. I mean, Dan was coming out a lot. He was addicted to it. He loved us. He loved what we were doing. But he was shooting the high 80s, low 90s. And he was basically shooting the mid 90s, 100. And after a couple of years, he was getting frustrated. So he came to us, and Dan was a great guy. And he came to us and said, hey, he goes, I love it, but it's just me. I just can't get better. I can't get better. So we started interviewing Dan. What are you doing? How are you doing this? And come to find out that what Dan was doing was he'd take our information, he'd work really hard with it, but he was consistently playing. Like he'd go and play on Tuesday, then he'd work on a swing and go play on Wednesday, and then he'd work on a swing and go play on Thursday, and he'd work on a swing and go play on, you guys follow me here? So he was playing as much as he was working on his swing, okay? And so we came to Dan and we said, Dan, okay, even the best players in the world can't do this. So here's what was happening in Dan's ripple effect, or in Dan's world. What was happening was he would try to learn something new, but then he'd jump out on the golf course and his old habits just crawl right back in. Then he'd jump back on the golf course, his old habits would crawl right back in, okay? And he was getting a little better, obviously, but he wasn't getting significantly better. And the other issue is Dan, all he did was pound balls, go play golf. Pound balls, go play golf, okay? He didn't understand what we call the two birds with one stone effect. We're working on your putting, and working on your chipping, working on your pitching. We'll build the full swing, okay? He didn't understand that, okay? Now, so here's what happened. Oh, the winter hit. And this is what Todd said. Todd went to Dan and said, here's what we're going to do. We're going to ban you from the golf course for a couple months. Now, that doesn't mean you can't go out and play. But it means you need to start slowing down your play and giving yourself more focus on working on fundamentals, sending in video to us, checking on them continually, and working on that short game to build those fundamentals, okay? So now Dan went into a world of assessments, monitoring through coaching, and limiting his golf until he was a little bit happier with what he was doing, okay? So Dan turned what he was doing into the optimal learning experience, okay? Long story made short, 1 year from the day Dan and we talked, and Todd talked, he was a 7 handicap golfer and the club champion, okay? Now, it's very interesting in the story because I don't think there's anybody that ever worked harder in their golf game ever than Dan, okay? But he wasn't working on it properly. So please, and this is the ultimate ripple effect, never think that just going out there and spending time solves the issues. And you've got to know this. This is what we call 90% group and 10% group. And you guys heard me say 1,000 times. The 90% group is chasing their tail. They're not getting that core ripple. They're not getting into the middle in solving what's going on in the middle. They're taking care of the fringe stuff. And there's such minimal effects around that, it's nuts. Okay? You've got to find that core. Now, maybe some of you guys are good enough out there to figure that out. I know I wasn't. I know even my brother wasn't. We had to go to Mo. We talked to other people. We talked to each other. I still work with my brother. My brother still works with me. So think about it. Little Mo out there still works with me at times on his golf swing. We still do it. We want another bit of eyes on us, okay? We still do this. So think right now, when you guys are doing the ultimate ripple effect out there, and you want that core stuff to figure out what you can solve to then take care of the fringe stuff, which will be easy. What access do you have to that? Members, get in videos. Get in videos. You know that. Email us, call us. Members, email, call us. Talk to us, okay? I just got off an email of 20 people before I got in here. I know it was 20. I counted them. They're all talking swing questions to me and to my staff, okay? Let's go, let's go, let's go, okay? Get them in there. Get to that core issue. And once you get that, guys, it's not a big deal. It is not a big deal. That's the ultimate ripple effect, okay? We'll have more on this. Guys, write in questions to us. Email us questions. Things that are going on in your golf swing. Things that are going on in your game. Send us things. I mean, I know a lot of members out there have indoor training facilities set up. Go to the Facebook page. I showed you, Bill Miller's outdoor training area. It's phenomenal. It's on Facebook. You guys are posting. Shane Matson posts this all the time. Guys, train at home. Play at the course. We've set that up for you guys, okay? This is what it's all about, okay? So it's all about. All right. So, guys, a couple of references tonight. Then we've got the giveaways. Number one, facility's going to be open July. You want to be the first there? Get into a July school with us in Oklahoma City. It's going to be open. It's going to be amazing. By the way, we're also selling memberships to that facility. So anybody out there who wants to be able to come use the greatest training facility in the world, you can join it. We have very reduced memberships right now. If you're interested in that, timg@gravesgolf.com. Unlimited practice, unlimited facility. It's amazing. We can talk to you about it, okay? It's going to be very limited, okay? By the way, VIP members, you guys know that level 5 members, you got unlimited access to our facility, 24/7, 365. You guys know that. So level 5 members, round-the-clock access to our facility, indoor, outdoor, the whole thing. Anybody else who wants access, depending on what level you're on, we can get you memberships. You're going to be very limited. So if you're interested in that at all, timg@gravesgolf.com. We can talk about that, okay? The trunk sale, the garage sale, that warehouse behind me, behind that wall right here, that warehouse behind there, got to go. I don't want my guys hurting their backs moving the stuff. Okay, it's got to go. Members, you're going to start seeing tons of emails coming out to you with specials. And I mean, knock your socks off specials, hand speed trainers, towels, hats. There's so much stuff back there. I just threw that. I pulled that in like 2 seconds, that stuff there. Bunker, I mean, everything. Guys, you're going to start seeing stuff come across to you, okay? It's going to be nuts, okay? We're going to have some fun with it. Come on, 9 DVDs for $100. Come on. Really? Most of those were $60 a piece when they started or more. All right. So there you go. Guys, if you got any other questions about those distance guidelines or anything like that, you can always email me at timg@gravesgolf.com. If you got questions on the Big Bertha sale, that will end very, 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 very fast. It is a sellout special. They did that intentionally to empty their warehouse at Callaway. Those clubs are all custom fit. Length, line angle, shaft flex, grip size, upgraded shaft, or grip on there. Okay? Yeah, so it's a crazy sale. It's actually a little earlier this year than I thought it would be. All right. All right, so we good? We good, guys? All right. We good? All right. Well, guys, I was looking at the comments that are on there. I can see the comments in front of me now, so I want you guys to thank you for those comments that are on there. I think we had 400 or 500 people on tonight. That's great. I want to thank you guys for being part of this. If you watch what's going on, Braves Golf is shaking and moving right now. Literally, we are shaking and moving. We are building. We're about to move into a new facility. I'm about to get everybody underneath one roof. It's going to be amazing. It will be the premier practice facility in the country. Not just for single plane. It will be the premier practice facility in the country. You're not going to find better than we're building. Okay? I've just put $6 million with my brother into a practice facility plus. Okay? Okay, think about that. Okay? It's unbelievable. Okay? Get in here. Have fun with us. Love to have you guys here. All right. So the first winner tonight, 3-day premier school winner, Penny Carroll from Pt.II, New Mexico. Penny's an alumni of our school. Love it. Penny, congratulations. So you won a 3-day premier school. Okay? Any of your choice. Certificate lasts forever. The next winner for tonight, another 3-day premier school, Richard Kaplan from Leesburg, Florida. Richard, come north. Richard, come up to us in Oklahoma City or Get out of the heat. Go 3 days ago. Anytime. Come to see us in Orlando, 3 days school down in Orlando. And I think we have one more winner tonight. Is that right? We have a Training Aid Bundle winner, Brian Westerbeck from West Burlington, Iowa. That's a Training Aid Bundle winner. So we have 3 giveaways. Is that tonight? Do we have more? Is that it? Okay. That's it. Okay, good. All right. So guys, thank you for being part of our single plane. Thank you for, let us know what we can do for you guys. We'll have another single plane event next month, another 10% show next month. And guys, members, please go to that website and see your calendar. Anybody out there who's not a member that might be interested, email me at timg@graysgolf.com. We have some membership spots available. You're more than welcome to join us, guys. And thanks for joining us tonight. We'll talk real soon.